Seniors, imagine this for a second. Somewhere in Japan right now, there are doctors in their late 90s and even past 100 who still walk to their clinic, still climb stairs without holding the rail, and still sit down with patients for hours without feeling drained. Their friends and colleagues keep asking them the same shocked question: how are you still this strong? And their answer is never expensive vitamins or perfect genes. Their answer is always about what they quietly put on their plate every single day. Now, here's the part that should make every American over 60 lean forward. When researchers compared the daily eating habits of these oldest doctors to the typical Western senior diet, they found something that feels almost unfair. The average American over 60 is accidentally eating in a way that speeds up inflammation, stiffens blood vessels, and weakens muscles, while these Japanese doctors are eating simple, cheap, ordinary foods that actually help their bodies stay flexible, sharp, and strong into their 90s and beyond. And here's the shocking twist. The foods we're about to talk about are not rare superfoods. They're not fancy powders. They're not $60 bottles from a health store. In fact, a lot of them are things you walk past in the grocery store without even noticing. Yet studies on Japanese centenarians, people living to 100 and beyond, keep finding the same pattern. The seniors who eat these kinds of foods every day have lower rates of heart disease, less dementia, better balance, stronger bones, and longer independent lives. So in this video, we're going to walk through 7 powerful daily foods Japanese oldest doctors warn their patients not to skip if they want to live to 90, 95, or even 100 with their mind and mobility still intact. And stick with me to the end, because secret number 1 is so simple and so overlooked that when you hear it, you might actually say out loud, "Oh my God, that's it. I could have been doing that my whole life." Before we dive in, let me ask you something. If you could add 10 healthy mobile years to your life just by changing what you eat each day, would you do it? Be honest. Tell us in the comments right now, how old are you, and what's one food you eat almost every day? We're reading every single comment, and your answer might surprise you when you hear what these doctors recommend instead. Now let's start with daily food number 7. It's something many Americans eat the wrong way, and Japanese doctors use it as quiet medicine. Number 7, warm, simple miso soup every single day. To most Westerners, soup is just a starter or something you eat when you're sick. But for many of Japan's longest living doctors and elders, a small bowl of warm miso soup is more like a daily health ritual. Not a huge heavy bowl with cream and cheese, but a light, salty, comforting broth made from fermented soybean paste, seaweed, and sometimes a few cubes of tofu or sliced green onions. Here's why they treat it almost like a prescription. As we age past 60, digestion becomes weaker. Stomach acid may drop. The gut lining gets more sensitive. Heavy, cold, greasy meals just sit there, making you bloated and tired. Warm miso soup does the opposite. It gently wakes up your digestive system in the morning or before a meal, so your body can actually break down and absorb what you eat. The fermentation in miso is the real wow factor. Miso is made by fermenting soybeans with a special culture, which creates beneficial bacteria and compounds that support your gut. Your gut is not just about digestion. Doctors now call it your second brain. A healthier gut is linked to better immunity, calmer inflammation, better mood, and even sharper thinking in seniors. If you're thinking, "But I don't want salty soup every morning," here's the good news. You don't need a giant restaurant-sized bowl. Even a small cup before lunch or dinner can warm the stomach, prep your digestion, and deliver a gentle dose of probiotic power. And yes, you can absolutely find low-sodium miso pastes and use more seaweed and vegetables instead of extra salt. The real secret isn't that miso is some magical potion. It's that it gives you 3 things seniors desperately need: warmth, fermentation, and minerals from seaweed, all in one simple habit you can repeat every single day. Food number 6 takes things even deeper, literally from the ocean. Number 6, sea vegetables, the quiet mineral shield for aging bodies. If you're over 60 and you almost never eat seaweed, kelp, wakame, or nori, you might be missing the very nutrients your bones, blood vessels, and thyroid are begging for. Japanese oldest doctors grew up in a culture where sea vegetables are normal. Thin green strips in miso soup, dark sheets wrapping rice, tiny flecks in salads and side dishes. To them, it's as ordinary as lettuce on a burger. But here's what will make you say, wait, what? A lot of American seniors are technically overfed but undernourished. They're eating plenty of calories but not enough micronutrients like iodine, magnesium, potassium, and trace minerals that keep cells functioning smoothly. Sea vegetables are like a multivitamin that grows in the ocean. As we age, our blood vessels stiffen, our blood pressure creeps up, our bones slowly lose calcium. Seaweed is naturally rich in minerals that support flexible blood vessels and a healthier blood pressure response. It also provides iodine, which your thyroid uses to regulate metabolism and energy. When the thyroid is sluggish, everything feels heavier. Weight, mood, even your thinking. If you're imagining chewing on huge rubbery pieces of seaweed, relax. You can sprinkle tiny shredded strips of nori over your rice, eggs, or soup. You can add a spoon of dried wakame to your own homemade soups or stews and let it soften. You can even find seaweed snack sheets in most grocery stores and have one or two with lunch like a crunchy mineral chip. The point isn't to suddenly become Japanese overnight. The point is to quietly add back the minerals that your body's missing after years of processed food and soda. A little bit every day, layered into your meals. And that brings us to daily food number 5, one that will either make you excited or nervous, depending on how you feel about soy. Number 5, fermented soy, especially natto and tofu, prepared the traditional way. In America, soy has become confusing. Some people say it's bad, some say it's amazing. But here's what Japanese oldest doctors actually do. They don't eat soy once in a while in a processed protein bar. They eat small amounts of traditional soy, like natto, tofu, and tempeh, almost every single day, usually in simple, unprocessed forms. Why? Because traditional soy in modest amounts gives seniors something incredibly valuable: gentle, plant-based protein that protects muscle, plus compounds that seem to support blood vessels, bones, and even hormone balance in aging bodies. Natto, for example, is a sticky, strong-smelling, fermented soybean dish that many Americans would wrinkle their nose at, but Japanese longevity doctors smile at. It contains naturally occurring enzymes that are being studied for their potential role in supporting healthy circulation and preventing dangerous clots. It also contains vitamin K2, which helps guide calcium into your bones instead of letting it harden in your arteries. Tofu, when prepared simply, not deep-fried or drowned in sugary sauces, is like a blank canvas protein, easy to chew, easy to digest, gentle on older kidneys compared to big slabs of red meat. When you're over 60, protecting your remaining muscle is everything. You don't need giant steaks. You need steady, daily protein your body can actually use. Japanese doctors often tell their older patients, a little soy every day is better than a big steak once a week. It's the frequency that matters. Half a cup of tofu in a soup, a spoon of natto over rice, a few slices in a stir-fry. These small, constant doses of protein help your muscles, bones, and blood vessels stay in the game. If you're thinking, I could never eat natto, that's fine. You can start with organic tofu, tempeh, or miso. The point is not to worship soy, it's to understand why these doctors keep returning to it. It's a daily, gentle building block for aging bodies that need protein without overload. But don't worry, if soy isn't your thing, the next daily food might make your mouth water, especially if you miss the taste of real, simple fish from your childhood. Number 4, small oily fish, the brain and blood vessel protectors. Here's where a lot of Americans gasp a little. Because in Japan's longest living regions, the meat of choice for seniors isn't giant steaks or greasy burgers. It's small, humble fish like sardines, mackerel, and anchovies. Not fried in thick batter and industrial oil, but simmered, grilled, or served simply with rice and vegetables. Why small fish? Japanese oldest doctors will tell you something that sounds almost like a warning. Big fish, big problems. Small fish, small problems. Large fish higher up the food chain can accumulate more heavy metals over time. Small fish live shorter lives, eat lower on the food chain, and tend to carry fewer contaminants while delivering more of what seniors actually need. Omega-3 fats, high-quality protein, and minerals like calcium and selenium. As you move past 60, your brain and blood vessels are under constant assault from inflammation, stress, and years of wear and tear. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish help keep blood vessels flexible, support healthier triglyceride levels, and may help preserve brain function as you age. Many Japanese doctors quietly recommend that their older patients eat small portions of fatty fish several times a week, not because of a trend, but because they've watched entire generations stay sharper and more mobile with this habit. Let me paint you a real-life picture. Imagine a 74-year-old American named Carol. For years, her dinners were heavy red meat, creamy sauces, and very little fish. Her cholesterol was climbing, her knees hurt, and she was exhausted by 3 p.m. After hearing about the Japanese way of eating from her daughter, she made one small change. 3 times a week, she swapped her usual dinner meat for a palm-sized serving of sardines or salmon with vegetables and rice. Within a few months, she didn't turn into a superhero, but something quietly powerful shifted. Her doctor noticed improved blood markers. Her afternoon crash softened. Her joints felt less stiff in the morning. Most importantly, she felt like her brain woke up again. Was it only the fish? Probably not. But that one daily style change shifted her whole pattern. Here's the key idea. You don't need giant portions. A small piece of fish the size of your palm, several times a week, is enough to provide those protective fats and proteins. Think of it as your brain and vessel insurance, something Japanese oldest doctors refuse to give up, even when they eat very little overall. If you don't like fish, talk to your own doctor about safe omega-3 options for you. But if you do enjoy it even a little, choosing small, oily fish a few days a week is one of the simplest, most proven habits from the Japanese longevity playbook. If fish is the protector, daily food number 3 is the color bomb that keeps cells younger from the inside out. Number 3, deeply colored vegetables, especially greens and sweet potatoes. Walk into the kitchen of a 90-year-old Japanese doctor, and you'll almost never see an all-beige plate. Instead, you'll see colors: dark leafy greens, bright orange kabocha squash, purple sweet potatoes, red radishes, tiny plates of pickled vegetables in pink, yellow, and green. Why are these colors such a big deal? Because they're not just pretty, they represent different protective compounds called phytonutrients that your body uses like shields and repair tools. Deep greens bring folate, magnesium, and chlorophyll that support blood and cell health. Orange and purple vegetables carry carotenoids and anthocyanins that protect your eyes, your brain, and even your skin from aging damage. Many Japanese longevity doctors quietly follow a simple, unofficial rule: 5 colors a day. Not 5 vegetables, 5 colors. That might mean green spinach, orange carrot, purple sweet potato, white radish, and red tomato. Not huge servings, just enough to make the plate look like a small festival instead of a beige hospital tray. For seniors over 60, this color rule is a game changer. It's not just about fiber for digestion. It's about flooding your cells with tiny plant compounds that fight the slow, quiet damage from daily life. Pollution, stress, blood sugar swings, and mild chronic inflammation that makes joints ache and energy fade. You don't need to cook complex Japanese recipes to copy this. You can simply ask yourself at each meal, how many colors are on my plate? If it's only 1 or 2, add a third, maybe a handful of spinach, some sliced red pepper, or a few cubes of baked sweet potato. Over time, your daily color count might become just as important as your step count. But vegetables and fish alone won't carry you to 100. There's another daily food Japanese oldest doctors rely on to keep their hearts calm and their minds focused. And you might already drink it, just not the way they do. Number 2, daily tea, especially green tea and roasted barley tea. Picture this. A 92-year-old Japanese physician finishes his morning clinic. He doesn't grab a giant sugary coffee. He sits by a window, pours a small cup of green tea, and breathes in the steam for a moment before taking the first slow sip. This isn't just a drink, it's a ritual. Green tea has been part of Japanese life for centuries, and it's more than hot flavored water. It contains gentle caffeine for alertness, plus a compound called L-theanine that promotes a calm, focused state instead of jitters. That's why so many elders in Japan can stay mentally sharp without feeling wired or anxious. It's like nature's built-in balance between energy and peace. For seniors over 60, this combination is gold. You get enough stimulation to stay awake and engaged, but not the hard crash or heart-pounding anxiety that sometimes comes from strong coffee or energy drinks. Some research suggests that regular green tea drinking is linked with better heart and brain health when it's part of an overall healthy lifestyle. Another favorite of Japanese oldest doctors is roasted barley tea, often served cold in summer and warm in winter. It has no caffeine, but a rich, toasty flavor and compounds that may support blood vessel health and digestion. It also replaces sugary drinks and sodas that quietly wreck blood sugar and waistlines. Here's a powerful mindset shift you can borrow immediately. In many Japanese homes, tea is the default. Water and tea first, sweet drinks only as a rare treat. For an American senior trying to live longer and feel better, simply shifting daily beverages from sugar and chemicals to water and tea can be one of the easiest and most life-changing upgrades. You don't need fancy ceremonial matcha to start. Even simple green tea bags, brewed gently and sipped throughout the day, can begin to nudge your body toward a calmer, cleaner internal environment. So we've talked about miso, sea vegetables, fermented soy, small fish, colorful vegetables, and daily tea. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but I can't overhaul my entire kitchen. What's the one daily pattern that ties all of this together? That's exactly what daily food number one is about. Not a single ingredient, but the way Japanese oldest doctors assemble their plate every single day in a pattern that whispers to your body, live longer, stay lighter, keep moving. Number one, the humble longevity bowl pattern, your daily 3-2-1 formula. When Japanese oldest doctors talk about what to eat, they almost never say only this one food will save you. Instead, they talk about balance. Over decades of watching their patients either decline quickly or stay vibrant into old age, they noticed that the longest living elders all shared one quiet habit, the way they built their main meal. They didn't call it a diet. They just repeated the same simple pattern, day after day, year after year. You can think of it as the 3-2-1 longevity bowl. 3 parts vegetables and sea vegetables, 2 parts whole grains or starchy roots, 1 part protein, fish, tofu, eggs, or beans. All served in modest portions, often in small bowls instead of one giant plate. Imagine this as a picture. At the bottom of the bowl, a small amount of rice mixed with barley, or another whole grain, or a scoop of sweet potato. That's your 2. On top and around it, 3 different vegetables or sea vegetables. Maybe spinach, carrots, and a little seaweed salad. That's your 3. Then on one side, a small portion of protein, a piece of fish the size of your palm, a scoop of tofu, or some beans. That's your 1. That's it. No complicated macros, no weighing food on a tiny scale. Just 3-2-1. More plants than starch, more plants than protein. Enough of each, but not too much of anything. For an American senior, this pattern is almost the opposite of what most people grew up with. Many plates are 3 parts meat, 2 parts starch, and maybe 1 lonely vegetable. The Japanese longevity bowl quietly flips that upside down. And that flip is where the magic happens. More plants and sea vegetables every day mean more fiber to feed your good gut bacteria, more colors to protect your cells, and more gentle bulk to keep you satisfied without overeating. Smaller portions of grains and roots mean steady energy without wild blood sugar swings. A moderate daily portion of protein protects your muscles and bones without overloading your kidneys or arteries. Here's the wow part. You don't need to eat perfectly every single day for this to work, but the seniors in Japan who live past 95 tend to build some version of this bowl most days of the week. It becomes automatic. It quietly replaces processed foods, and over years, that pattern adds up to something that looks like luck from the outside, but is really just consistency. Now, before we wrap up, I want you to hear this clearly. No food can guarantee you'll live to 100. Genetics, environment, and luck all play a role. But what you eat every single day, miso soup or soda, seaweed or chips, fish or processed meat, tea or sugar drinks tilts the odds. It either quietly speeds up the aging clock or quietly slows it down. If you're over 60 and you've ever thought, maybe it's too late for me, those Japanese oldest doctors would strongly disagree. They see people in their 70s and 80s change their daily foods and watch their energy improve, their digestion calm down, their labs get better, and their confidence come back. Your body is still listening to what you do every day, even now. So let's bring this all together. Warm miso soup to wake up digestion, sea vegetables to refill the minerals your body's missing, traditional soy and beans for gentle daily protein, small oily fish to protect your brain and blood vessels, deeply colored vegetables to flood your cells with protection, daily tea to calm your nerves and replace sugary drinks, and the 3-2-1 longevity bowl to tie it all together into a simple, repeatable pattern. You don't have to move to Japan. You don't have to learn Japanese recipes. You can recreate this pattern in your own kitchen with your own flavors, as long as you honor the same basic ideas: more plants, more color, modest portions, and daily consistency. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these daily foods surprised you the most? And which one do you feel you could realistically add this week? Miso soup, a little seaweed, a small fish dinner, or maybe just swapping one sugary drink for tea? Tell us in the comments. We read every single one, and your answer might inspire another senior who thinks they're alone. If this video opened your eyes or gave you hope, tap that like button so more people over 60 can discover these Japanese longevity secrets. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're sharing more practical, science-inspired tips every day to help you feel younger from the inside out. Your next decade doesn't have to look like your last one. Start with one bowl, one cup of tea, one colorful plate. Small daily choices, repeated over time, are exactly how ordinary people become the miracle seniors others whisper about. Your story isn't over, and starting today, your plate can help you write the next stronger chapter.